Let's do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome down to episode 140 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia, and the guy on your other screen or in your other ear. If you're listening to the show, it's Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. Hello, Cameron.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, Brendan. How are you?
Good night.
Good
Yeah,
evening.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Tired.
Why are you tired, mate? What's wrong?
Just, got a bit. I knew I would be after the whole Bright thing, and now I think I've just hit the wall because I've, got back from Bright 2 days ago, but then just gone straight into camera and photo mode. Trying to pigeonhole, trying to squeeze in before 6 days of work really quickly before you and I head off again. So
yeah. Welcome to the world of me having no sleep, having no sense at all.
Yes.
I couldn't even tell you what time zone I'm on at the moment. That's how much I'm going.
At least you don't have to print and stretch 48 canvases before you go.
48.
But that's okay. It's fine. It's good thing. It's a good thing, right? So yeah. So
will they be
welcome
perfect
back, Cameron. Welcome. Look
Yes.
at you. You're actually in the country and we're doing a proper fair income podcast.
We just said as we're getting on here, like it feels like ages since we've actually done a proper one in the office and your studio there. And then we realized that we did the live one at BFOP last week, and then we did a pre-recorded one from Scotland the week before.
Yes.
So it's been a good 3 or 4 weeks since we've actually done a proper sit-down one. So there's a lot that's happened in that last 3 weeks, hasn't
there? Yes, absolutely. And we look through our schedules and we go, October's looking pretty big.
Yeah.
October, November's looking pretty big, and now we're right in the midst of it. So it's good to be here. Thank you to everyone who has liked, followed, shared the channel. Thanks to the little spike we got from all you beefoppers who are listening. Thank you very much. We are now hovering around the 920 sub mark, closing in on the magic 4-figure mark, which we'll get there. We will get there at some point. Not that it matters.
It matters. I reckon if I had $1 for every time I beefop, I must say, you had 1,000 yet? You had 1,000? Nope.
Yeah.
Even today, I was just telling you I had Jamie around here, and he still hasn't subscribed, the piece of shit.
Jamie, please.
He goes, I'm just hanging on.
Jamie, stop what you're doing right now.
No, he won't. He won't. He will not. I reckon what we should just block him.
He wants to be the 1,000th, doesn't he?
Yeah, let's block him until we go 1,001, then we'll unblock him.
That's right.
Stuff him. It's great that we're getting these people involved. And we did a bit of a plug at BFOP with our little handouts and stuff like that. So I think that has helped a bit.
Well, it has, but also I think quite a lot of beefoppers already were subscribed to the channel. So thank you very much.
That's what I figured out. I think there was 550 people there this year. Yeah. And I would say, to be honest, 80% of them were either listeners or subscribers. Everyone just knew the show, which is great.
Well, that's right. And straight off the top of the show, I know we've got shout outs coming up, but I want to give an extra special Down South Photo Show shout out to Mr. Nick Fletcher and to Mr. Matt Crummins for putting on such an incredible event. Cam, do you ever hear a bad word spoken about BFOP? Like, it's just the way they do it. It's just magnificent.
Well, you've only been involved for 1 year, so I have heard some things about BFOP that people don't like. There was a couple of years where people weren't happy about the booking system or the website crashing. But you know what? Those people don't come anymore, probably, and that's probably the good thing because we don't want those kind of people. But you're right. Matt and Nick, Laura and Evelyn do an amazing job, and Craig, who does the AV stuff, and all the brands and all the supporters that come along. Like, it is a massive undertaking. I know this sort of firsthand. I tried to put on that Tassie one.
Yes.
And like that was a fraction of the size of this one, and it was a nightmare just doing that.
Yeah.
So I understand really how much stress and pressure goes on getting it right. So amazing job by them. And the thing about Matt and Nick is, like, you just know inside the head that the rat's going around really quick. He's running that wheel real quick. But they just seem to manage it so well these days. And the management is covered in craziness and out of controlness and tiredness, and it just seems to work. But I think, like you said, this is your sort of second year involved with it. I think Nick said it on the live podcast we did as well. It really did have a feel this year that, like, it felt like everyone just knew what they were doing. Like, it just sort of, everything just gelled together this year, where there was enough experience from people that had been there before versus the people that hadn't been there before to make it work really well. So it was great.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one big difference I noticed this year from last year was Laura's presence at the front of the building, whereas last year check-in was inside.
Yeah.
I think Laura was great. She was traffic warden. She was just like, yep, you got to go there. Yep, you got to do that. Yep. And it was fantastic. That worked
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, they did a few little things differently this year. They moved the AV on the other side, which stopped. That didn't like sort of plug everyone up. The
Yep.
registration, I think, as well, people figured out that, oh, if I can register when I first get there, let's just go and get it done out the way, get a coffee, start
Yep.
mingling. No one left it to the last minute.
That's right.
So yeah, it was great. The weather was incredible.
The weather was
The weather was
insane.
nuts. Yeah,
It was
it was.
almost too good.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
was a beautiful weekend, and there's nothing better than bright on a nice day or a nice weekend like that. To
That's
be
right.
honest, it was putrid for photos for most of it.
That's what I
It
mean. It was too good.
it was
Yeah.
too good. But you and Charlie went up the hill and made it work.
Yep.
Tom and I went up the hill a few times, made it work. The guys
Yep.
doing all the little workshops around Bright all made it work.
Yep.
And that's the thing I reckon is the most beautiful thing about the Bright Festival is it's almost like nothing to do with photography. It's
Yeah.
all to do with the community and just bring your camera type of thing.
Yeah.
And I reckon that's great. We probably should, as we're doing shout outs, we probably should give a shout out to the Lucky Strap guys, the Camera Life podcast that we met up there, which is Justin and Greg.
Justin and Greg. Yep.
They just did a live podcast this morning. We'll put a link in the description. They did a bit of a wrap up of BFOP, and it was quite funny. I tuned in and had a listen, and the 20 minutes I listened to was all about this thing's crazy and no idea how it works, but it just works. And they had all these cool pictures of the BMX biker jumping off the stage and all that stuff. But it was lovely to meet them. Really lovely couple of guys, a bit like us, quite down to earth. Just enjoy their photography.
If we do say so
If
ourselves.
we do say so ourselves, they're definitely the best live photography podcast in Australia. We're clearly the number one everything, but they'll catch up. But they're doing well. So shout out to them, and it was lovely to meet them as well.
Yeah, it was. I do remember talking to Justin last year and then seeing him again at this podcast. It seems this BFOP. So I'm losing it. They had seemed to have a lot more presence this year, which was great. I mean, they did the straps, the BFOP straps, which was
that's
very,
right.
very cool. So Lucky Straps, guys, go and check out their website. As Cam said, will be linked below. So
yeah, cool.
Fantastic.
This is going to be a mega episode, isn't it? Have we?
We've got a fair bit of ground to cover. So now, and we're not going to make it overly BFOP centric, but we're going to talk a fair bit about it. But because it was absolutely awesome. A few. Should we run through the shout outs that we've got there, or are we going to talk backgrounds? What would you like to do, Cameron?
Let's do the shout outs. Let's get the shout outs out the way. We've got through most of them.
Yes.
And then we'll do the backgrounds, and then we'll have a quick chat about the black and white competition. And then we'll plug our workshops. Then we'll have a chat. Then we'll talk about some camera gear. Then we'll do a deer cam.
Yep.
We'll do some beer notes. So what I'm telling people who are listening now, we're 5 minutes in.
Yes.
If you're driving along, extend your drive by another 10 minutes or so, because it's going to be a longer episode. If you're sitting at home on the couch, do what I've done. Double park yourself.
Yes.
Because we're going to be here for a while.
Have a little extra.
Yeah. So shout outs.
Yes.
You can rip them off if you want.
Karen W, who was up at BFOP and made sure that we gave her a shout out on the podcast.
Yeah, your black eyes recovered quite well from that.
It has. Simon M, who literally bought us a beer on Thursday night at the Bright Brewery.
So Simon met us. That was quite interesting. This is what happens every year at BFOP, and I reckon it's becoming a bit of a tradition that you go to the Bright Brewery as a presenter.
Yes.
Or, for lack of a better word, this is going to sound real wanky, mini celebrity, because you stood up, people know who you are, and there's so many faces that you don't really know, but you know the names of.
Yeah.
Simon has been taking the piss out of me on our Facebook page and website, and
for quite some time.
And I love it that he came and bought us a beer and introduced himself. Like that's great. That's what we want. We want people to come up and own their smart-assism, if that's a thing.
For his efforts, Simon got himself a T-shirt, so he was very happy with that. Right. And he has ordered a hoodie as well. So that's on its way, Simon. But for now, the T-shirt will just have to do. We're going into summer, mate. Wear a T-shirt. It's fun. The lovely Erin P. Good to see you up at BFOP, and you bought us a beer at the Bright Brewery as well. How did we even go to BFOP? We had a lot at the Bright Brewery on the Thursday night.
How do we get to the Nikon night again? That's the question.
Matt D, who bought us a beer up at Bright as well, literally bought us a beer, which is pretty cool. And as mentioned before, Justin and Greg, the Camera Life podcast from Lucky Straps. So,
and you know who else bought us a beer?
Who?
number one ticket holder bought me a beer.
Did he?
Yeah, Mel H
Okay.
bought me a
No,
beer.
good to see who the favourite is, Mel. No problem.
You know what? You're going to get to know Mel really well over the next couple of weeks.
He no, I actually think he did buy me a beer at some point. I was very tired coming back down the hill.
It's one of those things, isn't it? Like you just can't. Like I feel terrible in a way after BFOP because you meet all these people and people come up to you and they're like, "Hey, how you going? How you going? How you going?" And you get back to the end of the week and like, "Oh, someone bought me a beer," or
Yeah,
someone said they wanted to book into that. Someone wanted to talk about that, and you're just like
yeah.
lost.
You
Uh,
almost need to have a little jotter, a little
yeah,
notepad and running thing in your back pocket. Go, yep, right, okay, cool. We'll
I,
talk about it.
I'm going to give a shout out to a lady called Sue, not a man named Sue, a lady named Sue.
Hello,
Um,
Sue.
so I came back off my workshop off Mount Buffalo on the Saturday night when
Hmm.
they had the 70s night, the shenanigans going on.
Yes.
And I walked in and I was standing up the back watching, and I'd literally just cracked the first beer. And Sue turned around, who may or may not have had a few drinks. I'm picking it's probably maybe a few,
One or
and
two.
just had a few cracks at me about my outfit and everything.
Really?
She was really quite friendly. And
Okay.
then I found out that she'd been cut off from the bar. So she was no longer allowed at the bar. And anyway, the next morning I saw her at the
Oh
coffee
dear.
shack and I said, "Good morning to you, Sue." I said, "How's your head feeling?" And she pretended like nothing had happened.
Mm.
Maybe because she didn't remember what happened. Anyway, love her to bits. She ends up the next day she's booked a workshop. I'm like, this name pops up on my website. I'm like,
Oh,
hang on,
there you
it's
go.
the same lady who's coming to Bright next year. So that was very
Right.
cool.
So we steer clear of the brewery next year then?
No, we get there earlier.
That's right.
Yeah,
What a workshop you're going to have. That's going to be pretty special.
how to drink 12
Oh
beers
dear.
and take photos.
Yeah, exactly. Now, speaking of workshops, let's rattle off.
Yeah, let's
Because
do
we
it.
had BFOP, we had a lot of interest in the workshops from the Down South Photo Show that guy on that screen and this guy on this screen like to run.
Yep.
And now it's looking like a couple are starting to fill up. So we thought we'd jump on and say, if you are interested in joining us on the Down South Photo Show workshops next year, we have our 2 one-day workshops on the Bellarine Peninsula. Now, when we say one-day workshops, we basically go to 4 different locations along the Bellarine Peninsula
Mm.
with myself and Cam. This is my backyard, so I know the spots quite well. And we teach you how to shoot them. They're a lot of fun. It is also, I would say, the best value for money workshop in the world. Wouldn't you say, Cam?
Probably the universe, but world's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll stick with the world. Yeah, that's right. Um, isn't it funny that Mr. Universe is always from Earth? I've made that joke before. So there's only one place left on the Friday, January 17.
Yes.
There's 5 places left on January 18, and there's only
Yep.
10 places available each day. So
That's right.
those places are filling up pretty quick.
Yep. And then we've got Murray Mallee, which I think is in
Yes.
March.
Murray Mallee is right at the end of March, literally the
Right.
last weekend of March.
Yep.
That's
So
based out of Swan Hill.
Swan Hill.
Awesome, and
Yep.
that's filling pretty quick. We've got 6 places left for that.
Yep.
Tarkine and Cradle Mountain, which
Which
we
is
had an
actually,
absolute blast on this year. So
yeah, that was cool.
that was cool.
I think that and the next one. So we've got Tarkine to Cradle and in August, and we've got the Great Ocean Road in May. Both
Yes,
of those have got they're sort of almost half booked,
yes,
half filled. I reckon the Tarkine and the Cradle ones had lots of bookings in the last couple of days. So I think those
yes,
two, if you're thinking of coming to Tassie or doing the Great Ocean Road with us, I would
yep,
probably look at making your decision quick because those seem to be getting a lot of traction.
yes, they do.
So yeah, we've got that all happening. So 2025, which
And
is
of course,
ridiculous.
avid viewers and watch and listeners to the podcast know if they're listening to every episode,
Yeah,
we do a big summary after we do these workshops, show a lot of the photos off, talk about the
yeah,
workshops. You guys all know how much fun we had on the Great Ocean Road with the incredible light we got at the Redwoods, which we'll never forget.
yeah,
And
maybe.
also the Tarkine Cradle when we just so happened to have an aurora over Cradle Mountain. Why not?
There's a bit of a trend there, isn't there?
There is a wee bit.
Yeah. So they're the workshops. They're all
Yep.
available on www.dsps.com.au.
Yep.
They're available through my website as well, but go through the DSPS website. It makes it easier for me to reconcile later on.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's all linked in the
Yep.
description. So
Yeah.
jump on and have a look at that. We've had a suggestion at
Yes, we did.
BFOP, and
Who
we're
told
going
us
to,
that suggestion?
no, please.
No
Who?
idea.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. We've had a suggestion which we should have written down, but someone asked that the backgrounds that we show, if we
Yes.
wouldn't mind popping those up on our Facebook page. Well, guess what?
It's
Your
not
wish
happening.
is our command.
Oh, we are doing it. Okay.
Yeah, but we'll make sure that happens. They'll probably go up like the day after the podcast goes out, or maybe even roughly the same time. But they'll go up
Good
on our
idea.
Facebook page. So people who are listening and want to look at our backgrounds, they can just without having to go jump on YouTube,
Yep.
can do that. They'll go up on our Facebook page. So I'm going to start. Why not?
It was a great suggestion, Nat. I'm surprised we don't
Very
get
good
more
suggestion.
suggestions on how to fix this show.
We get lots of suggestions. We just don't use many of them. This is my background. So this was from the tippy top of Mount Hotham. Now, I reckon this was the Saturday night. We went up there Friday night and Saturday night on BFOP. So the Charlie and Brendan's Great Escape. We had a big ass bus and we took it up a mountain. It was pretty cool, actually.
Big
And
ass bus.
it was a big ass bus and we finished up here. So this is obviously looking, well, the sun has literally just dipped out of view on the sort of upper left of that photo. Mate, how good are the layers in alpine country? Just
Up on, yeah. Up
particularly
on,
when you get high. So, well, not when you
yeah.
get high, but when you get elevated.
Well, yeah. Up on,
Pretty
up on.
sure Charlie was high the whole time.
He was asleep, wasn't he? That's what I heard.
That was very funny.
When you get up on that Mount Hotham ridge, those
Yes.
layers, like you're talking 20 or 30 layers. It's
Yeah,
ridiculously how
it
good.
is insane. It is
Um,
insane.
I don't think I've ever been up there where I haven't had a sunset where it's just been incredible.
Just
Yeah,
and to prove the point, how much editing do you reckon I did on that photo?
none, straight out of camera.
Correct. It is 100% straight out of camera.
Right.
So, like, I was literally scrambling because, as I always do, getting ready for this show, I seem to always have shit to do before before I get on here. And I was like, crap, where's that memory card? There it is. Great, bang it in. Ah, that looks good. Chuck it up. Perfect. And that's, and I'm not being flippant about it. It's not like it's fish in a barrel, but it kind of is up there when you're presented with just incredible light and beautiful, just the layers, and then picking
And
out little ridge lines. This is done with the Olympus EM1X
right.
and the 100 to 400, which is my current go-to for that kind of stuff. So
Did you say lovely light, did you?
it was lovely light, very good light.
Composition's all right, or
Composition's brilliant, I would have thought. But are you talking about light or exposure?
well, that's the same shit, mate.
They're mutually exclusive, aren't they?
What do you mean? Anyway, hey, you know what?
Sorry, I'll stop using big words. My bad.
Yeah, no, mutually exclusive. Does that mean they're the same?
Yes, Cameron, it means they're identical.
So
Yes.
if I say exposure, I mean light. Why has there been so much confusion about that?
That's right. Yes. No,
Hey,
no, it doesn't mean that. But anyway, we'll move on.
doesn't it mutually exclusive or mutually
We did get
inclusive
while we're on this topic, I sat in on your presentation at Bright.
and heckled? Actually, I
I
heckled you.
didn't heckle too much. You wanted me to heckle more. I kept to myself. I was nice and quiet. It was very well received. You did a great job considering you threw that together in the car park 30 seconds before you went up.
I literally did it 6 o'clock that morning.
And squeezed in breakfast with me as well. That was impressive.
Breakfast with you. So yeah, look, it was. I enjoyed doing that presentation. I actually don't really like doing much public speaking. It's like I know everyone's the same. They all not really
Yeah,
enjoy
of course.
doing it, but we all manage it in a different way. And
Yes.
one of the ways I manage it is to try and interact with people and poke a few bears, like yourself and Glyn and stuff like that. That's one way I get over my nerves of talking. But what worked really well with this one is I wasn't trying to convince people. I was just saying, here you go, here's something to think about. I actually had a guy come up outside of HQ after it all finished, after we'd all broken up for the weekend. And he pulled me aside, and I forget, I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but he said, if I take one thing out of this weekend, it's your talk about light and composition. He goes, I've never really looked at my photos about what the light's doing. I've always looked about what the composition is all about. And he goes, that's been a game changer for me, that talk you did. And I'm like, well, I was blown away by that. I'm like, okay, cool.
There you go.
Thank you very much. So
Only
yeah.
takes one, Cam.
Only takes one. Hey, I asked you on the live podcast how many Ks you did on your up the
Yes.
mountain, and I've just calculated it because I'm multitasking and multi-skilled.
Wow. What was it?
192 kilometers each day you did,
Yeah,
with probably a bit more in between. So I'd say 200 Ks a day.
Well, we thought we were pretty close to 200. Charlie thought we were pretty close to 200, so he wasn't too far off. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And he slept for 120 of them.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome if everything was closer, but it's just not,
No.
So, but the way we structured the tour, so for those of you playing along at home, it was 10 hours on the bus basically, but you weren't on the bus for 10 hours. We started at Mount Beauty at the pond. So we started in Bright actually, and we went over the Toowong Gap, stopping quickly to look out just so people get their bearings, straight down into Mount Beauty, the pondage at Mount Beauty, which was freaking
Empty.
awesome.
Oh.
No, it was full. They filled it up overnight. It was amazing.
Oh, I thought you were joking about that. Did they actually refill it up?
It was refilled. Yeah.
Right.
And it was actually fuller the next morning. So, so we started there, and then we had a good hour and a half there. It was brilliant. And then up into Bogong Village, which is only a half an hour on the bus. And then we're off at Bogong Village for 4 hours, at Lake Guy and the creeks and things like that. And then up to Hotham. But that stint getting from Bogong Village via Harrietville up to Hotham, that's a solid 90 plus minutes in the bus.
Yeah.
But what we found was everyone recharged, literally and figuratively. Charlie had to sleep. So, and it was good because I got to make my way down along the bus, sitting next to people and just saying g'day. One lady, I did a full critique on all of her photos from the pondage, which she asked me for, which was great.
I was going to say, was it asked for, or you just decided?
No, I just went delete.
Yeah, delete.
No,
delete that shit.
They were very good. She actually had some quite good shots, and I think she knew that, and she just wanted me to tell her that she had some great shots, but she did have some really good shots. So,
yeah, she just
so doing stuff like that was really good because it makes it personable, and although yes, it was 90 minutes to get up to Hotham, it went like that. It was so quick because we're all chatting away, and everyone made new friends, and it was great.
Yeah.
So
cool.
we had 38 people on the first day and 32 people, I think, on the second day. So it was quite good.
Right. Awesome. All right. My turn?
Yeah. Yes. Sorry. Was that all just on my background though? You said it was going to be a long episode.
This is a meager episode. This could be the longest episode we ever do.
Big.
That's a
Cameron, your background, please.
My background. Okay. So for those who weren't tuning in or didn't listen to the 6,000 post I did, just got back from Scotland.
Did you go somewhere?
Yeah, apparently. So this is the backside of the Old Man of Store, which is a beautiful sort of little ruggedy mountain range just out of Portree on the Isle of Skye. So we spent 2 weeks exploring that for our next year 2025 and 2026 tours. This was about one of 3 or 4 pictures only I took on the Olympus 150 to 400.
The camera that did the lens that did the big world tour and got 3 photos.
It got 3 photos. But you know what? The 3 photos I got were probably some of the better ones I got because I was able to get right into that landscape without hiking for 2.5 hours to get up into it.
Yep.
So we just got back from there. We had a great time. We did all our scouting. We've got all the itineraries sorted out now and had a great time. My travel partner was Cheryl from Cheryl Davis Photography, who does the wonderful macro work. She was good fun to have around. She helped me pronounce.
And she's still over there. She'll be listening to this from over there, I would imagine.
Yeah, she's on a weird trip at the moment. So her parents live in North England, and they've gone on like a land-based cruise thing. So they've just gone to this little location, and it's like a cruise, but you don't go anywhere. It's weird. But based on where she's staying and some of the things she's told me so far, it sounds like they're staying at Faulty Towers. She sent me a picture of the mini golf course there, and it's got holes in it. It's all rusted. It's all rotted out. It's quite funny. But it was great to have her. She's been to Scotland a couple of times, and then we caught a train down to London, which is pretty cool. I got to see London. I've never been there before. I went and saw the Phantom of the Opera at His Majesty's Theatre, which is very culturalized for me. I'm not usually that ooh la la, but it was good fun. And then came back and had a day and a half off before BFOP, which was I'm doing it next year as well.
It's exactly the same thing.
That's stupid. So
is it basically exactly the same itinerary and then you're straight into BFOP again?
Pretty much. I think I have maybe 3 days off, maybe.
Good.
So
there, you did it. That's fine. Whatever will get you through the night. You'll be right.
Anyway, hey, on a different note, it's raining here. I haven't heard rain on the roof here for yonks.
It poured rain here yesterday.
So that's my background.
Awesome.
We should probably talk about something that's not us, really.
Something that's not us.
Well, I've done the Scotland wrap.
Well,
actually, everything on there is about us, isn't it?
It is. No,
Right.
let's talk about that bottom point there. Cam, you are a finalist,
Hmm.
or your business is a
Yes,
finalist in the Tourism Awards of Tasmania once again.
we are. Yes, with the help of team member slash tourism legend slash marketing guru slash knows how to write applications better than me, Chelsea. We have made the finals again in the adventure tourism category of the Tasmanian Tourism Awards, which is really cool. We won it in 2022, completely
Okay.
forgot about it in 2023, and now we're back in 2024.
You
So
know, it feels like it was last year, but it was a year before
it
that you
was the year
won
before. That's how long we've been doing this show for.
it. That's right.
It
I
just
looked a
feels
lot
like,
younger when we started this thing.
yeah, I was definitely not as grey. Um, so yeah, we're in the final, and we also made the finals in the People's Choice category, which is a separate category,
Superb.
which is great. So yeah, we're really excited about that. I won't be here for the announcement. I'll be over in America with you when it happens.
That's
So
right.
Lisa and Chelsea are going out on the piss for the night.
Did they broadcast it live, the awards?
No, they don't. It's one of those
Oh,
things that they don't like.
so we have to wait for a text message from Lisa.
Yeah, they'll do some Facebook updates along the way, but it's like 2 o'clock in the morning our time. So
Oh, Struth. Well, okay. I'll be
and I
asleep.
think it's the same day as the American election. So we may not actually be on this earth by then. We might be all
Well, I'll be back in LA by then. So,
all right. Well, you'll be fine. Listen to you
well,
dropping names. I'll be back in LA and I'll be in Vegas.
never been to the States before. This will be interesting.
You're in for a trip. So yeah,
So
that's really good for us.
yeah, that's excellent. Feather in your cap.
Thank you.
Brilliant. I love it. So Cam and I are off again Monday after this goes out, which is only in a few days' time.
Yeah, it is.
And we're heading over to Utah, which will be very exciting. This is one of Cam's tours that Cam has very, very kindly invited me along to help out on, and
Mm,
can't wait. Can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic to go somewhere I've never been before to take photos. I think
yeah,
that's probably the biggest hook of all.
yeah. That's exciting
Seeing
when you.
some fresh landscapes.
Yeah, it is exciting when you get somewhere where you haven't been before. I actually
Yep.
had a call from number one ticket holder Mel before asking a little question about some hotel logistics. And anyway, I said, "You're all good to go, mate." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." I said, "Look, I said I've gone past the shitting my pants stage now. Everything's in place. I'm ready and excited just to get over there and show everyone this amazing place."
Yep.
And he said, "Well, I've actually just entered the shitting my pants stage now. Leaving in a couple of days." So
Yep.
it should be great. We've got yourself and Dan helping out 5 star. Yeah, we get to go into Vegas, and then we'll go up to do a lap of Utah, really, visiting all these incredible national parks. And then
You
we
forgot
might
the
have,
important bit that's happening in Vegas that we just booked.
yeah, should we tell people?
Of course we should.
All right. Well, what did we just book in, Brendan?
Well, look, even though it's not an official Down South Photo Show workshop, both of us will be there, and we might just have to find ourselves on a golf course at some point.
If you're going to
So,
play golf in America, what kind of golf course would you like? Just the backyard, little
oh, just
backcountry night
some
holer?
scrubby scratch joint somewhere. Yeah, no, we decided to play somewhere decent because when are we going to have a chance to ever play golf together in the States again? And probably next year. But anyway, well, who knows?
So we've just booked in TPC Vegas, which is a tour course.
Yes.
If we break 100, if we break 100 on the first nine together, I'll
Yeah.
be bloody shocked.
Yeah. You know who plays regularly there?
Cam Smith.
Donald Trump.
Does he really?
Yes.
He's not going to be playing there.
He'll be too busy. He'll be on the hustings.
Yeah, he'll be too busy hiding. So yeah, we're playing golf, and then yeah, we get to go around Utah, which I'm really excited
Yeah.
about.
Oh, it's going to be epic, man. It's going to be really
Mm.
cool.
Yeah, beautiful landscapes. And I just looked up today. I looked at the US election map, and
Yes.
Vegas or Nevada, Utah, Arizona, the three states we're going to, are
Hmm.
all red Trump states. So I think we're going
Hmm.
to be okay if he wins or lose. I think that's going to be all right.
Okay. All right. So, well, who
Yeah.
knows? I'm not political, and I don't intend to become political when I'm over there. So
No,
fine. One
no.
thing I am excited about, and listeners might have already cottoned on to this, is that we're going to be there for Halloween,
Yes, we are.
which is
Well,
pretty
Adam
cool.
Walker, who's coming on the trip,
Yes.
he bailed me up. I think he might have been drunk when he bailed me up. That was on the shenanigans night as well.
Is there a theme here?
Yeah, yeah, drinking.
I didn't see Adam the whole weekend.
Yeah, he was there.
Hmm.
And he suggested that we all dress up in Halloween outfits for the day, go out shooting on the day that Halloween is. So
Sure.
we may do a bit of a stop at Walmart and grab a few. Uh,
I just want to go to a Walmart. That's fine.
Walmart. You walk into Walmart, right? And I walked in there last year and I expected the worst, like, weird people, things going on. It was okay. It's okay until you get in there and then like, oh, there's the gun area. Oh, good. And there's like the
Mm.
15 aisles of candy. And oh, by the way, there's some Levi Like it just had everything. It
Yeah.
was like a Kmart on roids. It was ridiculous. Um, and then a funny thing else we did in one of the Walmarts, I don't know where we were exactly, but they had a whole aisle dedicated to Tim Tams,
Actual Australian Tim Tams.
Australian Tim Tams. And
Gee,
well,
they've
Daniel
taken
and I
off over
walked
there,
down the
haven't
aisle. We went down the aisle. We're like, what the hell's going on here? And there was a lady going, so turned around, she goes, are you Australian? Like, yeah, she goes, which Tim Tam should I get? Like, they're all.
they?
And then we had to give her instructions on how to bite the corner off
Oh
the.
yeah, you got to do the Tim Tam explosion. That's right.
Speaking of Tim Tams, this is absolutely nothing to do with photography.
That's fine.
Have you
Neither
ever
is this show.
heard? That's true. Have you ever heard anything? Have you ever heard of a biscuit called the Penguin biscuit?
No.
It's in the UK, and
Okay.
I've had a serious, like, Cheryl and I are good
Ooh.
friends. We're
Ooh.
close friends. We almost came to blows over this because apparently
There was one left in the packet.
no, the Penguin biscuit is what Tim Tams ripped off.
Oh,
And I went,
right.
well, hang on a sec. No. So I had to buy a pack of these Penguin biscuits. They
Naturally.
weren't as creamy and they weren't as thick, but they did look like a Tim Tam.
Okay.
But apparently Australians ripped that off. And then next, I said, what next? We ripped off the Lamington and the Pavlova.
Yeah, that's
Like
right.
it got
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
And Farlap and Crowded House.
in Crowded House, and Split Ends, and
All made in
um,
Australia, surely.
yeah, that's right. So apparently there. Anyway, we tried some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, bring
Okay.
on Utah. We're gonna have a ball.
Just before you move on from Tim Tams, is there anything better on this earth than a Tim Tam from out of the fridge?
No, probably not.
I don't think there is.
Have you ever spent 3 or 4 seconds to look how many calories are in each Tim Tam?
No. Why would I
They
do that?
they
That will
are
just upset me. I'm not doing that.
every Tim Tam is like an extra ticket to a heart attack.
That's right.
They are
Every Tim Tam takes 5 days off your
yeah,
life.
exactly right. It's not good.
Perfect.
So anyway, yeah, we're looking forward to Utah.
Yep.
Um,
So
we're going to do
you've
an
rattled
episode.
off the states. We're going to Utah, we're going to Arizona, and we're going to Nevada.
Nevada. Yeah, we're doing a sort of a clockwise from Vegas around through Moab, back through the bottom, back into Vegas.
Awesome.
Should be
And
good.
do we get
And
to see the Grand Canyon?
yeah, we're going to see the Grand Canyon.
Brilliant.
So it's going to be good. The first group we've got one person sadly dropped out,
Yes.
which is a shame, real shame.
So
we've got,
so with the 2 days notice of this going out, can someone jump on, or are we a bit late for that now?
if they can meet us in Vegas on the 23rd at the Luxor Hotel,
We'll have
and
them.
just bring a wad of cash with them,
That's right.
we might be able to make it work.
And a bulletproof vest. We'll be
Bulletproof
fine.
vest, yeah. So yeah, it's going to be great. I've got the group that we're on is a really lovely group. I know
Yes.
most of those people. And then I've got a second tour with just Daniel and I. We do another lap
Yep.
with pretty much a camera club from Launceston, the guys from there.
Sensational.
So, and then I get home with 2 days to spare before my wife's 40th birthday.
Mate, it's like you planned it.
I better bring something decent home.
Something amazing. 40.
Yeah.
You don't turn 40 every day.
She doesn't look a day over 35, which is rude.
I wonder if she's happy with us discussing her age on the
I know what
podcast.
she
But
does
anyway,
need.
too late now.
She needs braces.
She definitely does.
That's an
So that's going to be epic. Now, I know people really want to know, are we going to do an episode of the show
yeah.
while we're over there? I think we are.
I think we can.
Yep.
Kids are jumping
We're
around.
gonna,
I think we can and we should.
yes.
Um,
I think that what we'll need to do, we'll just need to be in our own hotel rooms just so it works like this.
I think it could work. I reckon it'll work. I reckon it'll be like if we just do like we did
Yeah, we can.
BFOP.
We're not going to have Craig though to do it all for us, but then
We'll
we'll
have
work it out.
Dan. We'll have 5-star
We
AV Dan.
will. AV Dan.
AV Dan. I reckon if we were to record, we could probably record the first or second night in Zion and still get it out by next Friday.
Oh, look, works for me.
How are you going to
We'll make
edit?
it. No, I will have lappy toppy, and we can make things work.
Hey, total topic that we haven't even put on the run sheet.
Oh God.
Yeah. I bought a new bag today.
Excellent. Oh, well, we kind of need to talk about this, but you tell me.
Yeah. So camera bags. I had my little bag. I took the Scotland little crumpler bag, which has a little compartment down the bottom, but the rest of it's sort of soft tops in the top.
Mhm.
And it was okay, but I didn't really like it. So I started researching and had a look around at some bags, and I narrowed it down to two bags, which is the f-stop Loki 35 litre one. I've got some f-stop bags and the inserts; they work really nice. And then I looked at the Shimoto Explorer version 2 35 litre one.
Mhm.
Um, and I rang good mate Mark at DigiDirect and said, "Hey, I need one of those Shimoda bags." And he goes, "Oh, we don't have any in stock. It'll come in probably over the weekend." I'm like, "That's no good. I need it before that." So I said, "Don't worry about it." Then I found a really good deal on the f-stop Loki bag for like had $140 off, which I thought that's great. Bang, I'll
Bargain.
go with that. So I bought it, express posted it down here today. Mark rings me up today and says, "I've got that bag. It's on its way for you." So now I've got two bags.
Right.
So I'm going to maybe try and figure out which one to take. But it's a tricky one, getting your camera gear on the plane carry on.
Yeah.
It's a real tricky one. Like when I went to Scotland, I took my Olympus camera and that big lens, and I took another lens with that. It actually went in my checked-in baggage. I wrapped it up as best I
Yep.
could because it was just too heavy to take on carry on.
Yes.
But what I did take was the Leica and a couple of lenses on carry on, and that worked a treat.
Yep.
Like it's a very small system, but
Yep.
so what are you bringing to Utah?
Well, I just want
How are you going to do
to
it?
rewind a little bit back to the weekend in
Yeah.
Bright
Hang on
because
a sec. Hang on.
didn't quite get it, but it's not bad. The lady that said she was screaming at the podcast saying they never weigh your bags at Carry On.
Well, she came up to me at Beefop.
That's when I was there. Yeah.
That one, yeah, yeah, and they didn't.
Hmm.
But as soon as we take 20
Exactly.
kilos in a bag
They're gonna nail you.
in those little white bricks,
Yeah.
they're going to really nail.
So I will take my OM gear,
Yeah,
and I've got this obviously, which
yeah,
just cannot. The lens will come, but the body, the EM1X, just no, that's not coming.
yeah.
But my OM5 is going to come along for a ride.
Right.
So I'm thinking at this point it'll be OM5 7 to 14, 100 to 400, 60mm macro, and 20mm f1.7.
Yep.
So
Okay. Yeah, that's
yep,
cool.
I think that's my spread of lenses
Yep.
that um, I am toying with maybe not taking the 100 to 400, but we'll see what happens. But it's going to be one of those things, Cam, like you in Scotland. If I don't take it, I wish I had it. If I take it, it's going to go on a tour. I'm just going to lug a 2 kilo
Yeah.
lens around.
Well, I did in Scotland as well when I got a few days in, and I'm like, I haven't even pulled this bloody big lens out. It hadn't even come out of the suitcase,
Mm.
and I started getting angry with it. Like
It's getting in the way.
I started getting shitty at this lens. I'm like, what? And I think I spoke to you, and you're like, you're just taking that lens on a world tour. It's not going to get
Yep.
you. So I forced myself just to
Yes.
attach it to the camera, put it on the seat, and take it out. And I actually got this shot behind me, as I mentioned, and I got some really cool Highland cows from a
Yes.
distance as well.
So
So
is it going to Utah?
no,
Right.
even though I hope Rhonda's not listening to this because Rhonda thinks I'm bringing it, but no, I'm not. I haven't checked my weight of my luggage yet, and it's not coming. The Leica for me, I know I'm a
Yep.
wanker for owning one, and everyone, it's a wanker camera. I realize that.
I own a Leica.
Yeah, but it worked really well. I had 21mm for my wide angles. I had the 90mm for getting into landscapes a bit, and the 50mm was just magic for around the towns.
Yep.
So, and it weighs nothing,
Yep.
and the quality's great. So I'll probably just go with that, I
Yep.
reckon.
Yep. And that's why I'm more than comfortable to take the OM5 with that
Yep.
suite of lenses because I'll take the 20mm f1.7, my Panasonic pancake lens that goes straight on that thing. That kit will go in my pocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
OM5 with that lens attached, it'll
Yeah.
pretty
Like
much
they're
go in my
tiny, aren't
pocket.
they?
So it's tiny.
Like they're only this
Um,
sort of size, these lenses, aren't they? They're only
yeah,
tiny.
nothing to it. So
Um,
it just well the 20mm 1.7 is even smaller than that, and it just
yeah.
so that'll be my Halloween setup. Like I can
Yeah.
if I want to because I think and I'm not it's your tour, but I've already mentioned this to you off air. I'll be very disappointed if I'm not allowed to run a couple of photography
Hey,
challenges.
look, this is my tour, but I've invited you along to come and help. So
That's right. So
feel
so
free if
so
you want
help
to.
you, bastard.
Yes, I help you, bastard. So if you think you're just going to drink beer every day and drive a car, no, you're going to
Dan
be.
and I have just made a list of all the pubs, mate. That's all we've been doing.
I reckon, you know what, he'd go for that. No, we're a team, and I'm more than happy for you to take over for an hour and run some things
Yeah, no,
and do
you know,
stuff.
when we
Yeah,
do the Down South Photo Show tours, Murray, Mallee, Tarkine, and Great Ocean Road now open for bookings. We have photo challenges along the way. It's a lot
yeah,
of fun.
it's a lot of
I
fun.
think I think the first time we do it, people do the biggest eye roll you've ever seen, and then they actually do it and go, "That was good because it made me,
Yeah,
pardon the pun, focus on one thing for a little while."
there is that. Oh my God, we're in kindergarten. Oh, hang
Yeah,
on, this is actually really fun.
yeah. No,
What
this
we
is
can
good.
offer, what can we offer in prizes in America? We can probably get them between hotels safely.
Poker chips,
Chips.
casino chips.
Yeah, maybe.
No, we won't be doing that.
Well, Utah's a Mormon state. There is no gambling in Utah.
This is true. We're going to get all that gambling out in Nevada. Not that I gamble. Anyway, that's
Yeah, no.
beside the point.
You know, the only
What are
reason
we talking about?
the only reason to gamble in Vegas is just to drink for free.
Well, that's right.
Moving on. So we've done BFOP, we've done Utah,
Yes,
spoken
we've done
about
you.
me. Do you
Yes,
want me to give a bit more of a rundown of Scotland? Scotland was pretty good, but we've sort of done it, haven't we?
we've pretty much done that in the last
Ah,
podcast and this one, so that's fine.
yeah.
Let's
Okay.
talk quickly. Photography news. Fuji have announced a new camera.
Yes,
Knock me down with a feather.
it's gonna break
Um,
the world, this one.
the Fuji XM5. It looks really good.
It is very cool, very
Well,
small.
it looks good. And I've got the specs up here. So it's a just looking here. It's an APS-C size sensor. So it's Fuji make full frame and they make APS-C like a lot of the manufacturers do. 26 megapixels, 8 frames per second, which is pretty cool for you mode shooters and sport shooters. Not so handy for landscape, but anyway, whatever. And video and yeah. We don't talk about video much on this show, but it'll do it. The
Yeah.
thing though, 355 grams, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So that includes what it says here on their website, that includes battery and memory card. So it's
Mm.
really cool to see these companies making this lightweight gear that will interchange lenses with their bigger cameras. It looks the part. It's built really, really solid as well, this thing. So
Mm.
your magnesium alloy chassis and all that kind of cool stuff. So Fuji, coming up with the goods.
Can I pick shit out of this one?
That's what you do. So sure.
Something that BFOP people told me on a regular basis
What's that?
is that I don't rant enough anymore on the show.
Oh, they want more of that.
Apparently. So guess what?
Oh, can I just say, sorry, before you do, fully articulating screen.
Yeah.
Good job, Fuji.
Yeah. How about Canon and Nikon? Maybe pay attention. Hey, so firstly, great little camera. Looks great.
Yep.
There is a couple of caveats with this though. You need to dress like me with a little hat on and a beard and be a bit of a hipster to use it for starters.
Okay.
Don't think you're going to get any stock because I think it's already sold out
It
everywhere.
has sold out, yes.
So this
But
is one of
that's
the
how they all do the same thing, Cameron.
I know, but this is something that Fuji have a lot of a problem with. So the other camera that I might take to America is my little Fuji X100.
Mhm.
Once these came out, they're like hen's teeth. You cannot get them.
Nope.
I know that means that the cameras are good and there's popularity with them, but what's the point of releasing a camera if no one can get one? Like
Yep.
it seems a bit silly. And just looking at something these brands do, and we might even get onto brands. We'll see how much of a rant I want to get into. I've had a couple of conversations in the last 24 hours with people about brands, but looking at the Fuji website, can they please, for the love of Christ, just get people that can take photos with their cameras to promote the photos? Like if you go onto the Fuji website and have a look at this XM5, they've got a couple of landscape shots up there. They look like they've been taken through dog shit. They are terrible.
There's
Highly
if
contrasted.
we're looking at the same thing, it's the looks like a rainforesty shot with a waterfall, a
No,
creek
I'm
and a
looking at the
waterfall.
one that's a coastal shot. Terrible.
Oh, well, the creaky rain. No, I agree, mate. The
They're
photos
terrible.
actually aren't that great. There's a shot here through a palm tree with a
Yeah,
person on the beach. It looks like it's shot at Airlie Beach or something like that.
yeah,
It's appalling. It's a
it's
shocking
terrible.
photo.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
these
Like
brands,
it's actually bad.
it is bad.
I'm
These
looking at that
brands,
photo going, hang on, if that's the image that this camera is going to give me,
why would I
God,
buy it? Well, it's sold out, and I'm a hipster, so I got to have one.
that's right.
So
But yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm going to say I agree. Having said that, I am scrolling down through the shots. They do get better. There's a couple of nice shots further
yeah,
down,
there's a
but
couple of nice shots, the proper promotional shots
well,
that are probably not taken on the
makes me wonder if
XM5. They're
they're even
probably
taken with
taken
the
on something else.
XM5. Yeah.
Um,
Well, it
so
says
these,
here that it is XM5. So
right. So these brands, I think, need to get a bit of a grip. And this was highlighted to me at BFOP. And I'm not going to rag out, I did rag out Canon a little bit when I was there, but they seem to be good sports. Hello to Jess. I think she was the rep or the marketing lady from there. She was
Canon
quite,
did a wonderful job at BFOP. They
yeah,
embraced it, which was
yeah,
great.
yeah. Not all brands did. Um, one brand left before it ended. Once again, think hipster, think. But anyway, one thing
Wow.
I've noticed about these brands is they continue to try and sell their cameras through the wrong representatives, I feel. Not all of them. This is not a blanket fit for all. Like there's some amazing shooters for Nikon and Canon and Fuji. Like there's some amazing ones. But the ones they put out there in front of the public to sell their products just seem to really lack a bit of what you'd expect from someone who's trying to flog a camera that they're getting paid to flog. And I find it a bit disappointing that there's a lot of great photographers. Like BFOP's a classic example of some of the best photographers in Australia, and these brands don't want to touch them. They want to be polite and friendly at BFOP and the trade shows they go to, but that's it. That's as far as the relationship goes with
Well,
these
it
photographers.
probably comes back to the marketing people, like, not their marketing people, but they're their analysts that they use.
Yeah,
They're looking at a business model, and it's,
yeah,
I don't know where they're getting their information from because I think they're off.
they are off, but BFOP was a classic example of how far off these brands are
Yep.
when they're trying to put people with these cameras in front of other people. And like I spoke to a few people over the weekend, and the collective response was, you know what, stuff these brands. Like I'll use whatever I want. I'm not going to help them. I'm not going to promote them. I'm just going to do my stuff and enjoy my photography because
Yep.
these brands, like you said, they're so far off the mark with how they're trying to market these cameras to different people.
Yeah. It does feel that way a little bit with as you say, with certain brands. But yeah, now that you've pointed it out and I'm flicking through this website, yeah, it leaves a bit
It,
to be
it,
desired.
and you know what? It's not just that. It's not just Fuji website. You go have a look at all the camera brands
Hmm.
and some of the images they use to promote their cameras from said ambassadors or whatever they might be, legends of the brand,
Yep.
um, are, are quite terrible compared to the everyday photographer that's using them and doing really well with them. Like
Yep.
they really need to get a bit more embracive
Look,
of.
at the end of the day, Cam, the camera you've got is fine. Just go do a workshop instead.
Yeah, agreed. Like I just find it disappointing that there's a lot of people out there doing some great work with all these brands collectively and not even getting a look in. And I would hazard a guess that the guys that are marketing these cameras and being put up as the promoters or the ambassadors are not selling these cameras. It's the guys like us that are running the workshops and using them every day and being passionate about the brand we use and when we use it and how we use it. We're the ones that are selling these cameras. And I think the brands need to maybe be a little bit more aware of that and maybe just a bit more thankful, perhaps. Maybe a bit more acknowledgement that we are doing a great job, us photographers,
Yep.
and you don't need to be a TikToker or a hipster to sell cameras.
Look at that. Look how old we are.
Well, maybe it is an old thing, but for example, right?
No,
For
it's a good
example,
brand.
now,
Keep going. You're on a roll.
now you've lit a fire under me.
You're on a roll. It's a good
Let's
brand.
talk, let's talk Sony.
Okay.
So Sony, you at BFOP, first time they came to BFOP. Sony are a great brand. They got great cameras. Everything I used to buy was Sony camera, TVs, PlayStations, the whole lot. And they came to BFOP, and I think they were completely out of their depth in regards to what they thought BFOP was going to be about and what the brand that they brought was going to be able to give to people. They weren't at their stand much at all. They were out running workshops. They did a cosplay workshop and they did a few other sort of different workshops. Some of the things I heard about the workshops were that they were very sort of average, kind of not that interesting kind of thing. But I just found that they just weren't in the vibe of it because they're a completely different demographic of what they're trying to sell.
They might have just expected it to be like just another trade show.
Yeah, but isn't that a blight on them for not having a look at what they were coming to do?
Possibly, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to cut them a wee bit of slack insofar as to say, first time, thank you for coming.
Yeah,
Awesome. Maybe
but
next year, then now
Canon
they'll
for Canon
things will
first time,
change.
Canon embraced it.
Yeah.
They picked up, I think, the intellect of the Canon people working there.
I get the feeling that Canon might have sent some scouts last year to see what the fuss was
Maybe,
about. I think
maybe.
so. And Sony could take a leaf out of their book, and that might happen. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I
but
didn't have a lot of interaction with any of the brand ambassadors. Brand
yeah,
ambassadors. I was too busy up a mountain on a bus, but
yeah, you're away a lot. I
I
walked
was,
around
yeah.
that HQ a lot and had a look at all what was going on. Again, shout out to Nikon. Like Nikon just own that festival. They do
Julie
an
from
amazing
Nikon,
job.
you're an
Yeah,
absolute
the whole
superstar,
team,
Julie.
Ross and the team from Nikon, they go out of their way. They talk to people. They engage people. Canon did that as well. I thought Canon were great. As much as I hang it on Canon, they engage with people really well. But
There was an R1 apparently there.
yeah, but some of the other brands, it was almost like, well, don't you know who we are? We're this
Mm.
brand, and you should come to us and tell us how good we are. And I just found it a bit disappointing. And I think these brands, in as collectively, I think they're off the mark still. I think, yes, they're selling lots of cameras. Camera gear is going out the door. That's great. But I think they're missing the majority chunk of their market that uses their cameras, and they're targeting it wrong. That's just my 2 cents.
Written and authorized by C. Blake, Hobart, Tasmania.
Well, I don't know. Like, and
Anyway,
I'm not the only one that felt this, but yeah,
good gear news, photography news.
is that enough
Now,
ranting?
I'm just saying 4 words here, and you're going to have to give me a bit more information.
What am I looking at?
Canon discontinue EF lenses.
Yeah, so
This is big news. This is the end of an era.
because I'm a pest, um,
You,
so on the Saturday morning, every day Canon had a little table near the food van where everyone could come along and talk about Canon, and they had the reps from Canon talking. And I went to go get a hot chocolate, and as I walked over there, I saw the Canon group. I sort of stuck my head in there and sort of got a pretty quick vibe that I wasn't welcome there. So I backed out, but I could hear. I think they might have thought I was going to hang shit on them, but I didn't. Not to their face. So as I backed out and got my coffee, I heard them say, and new news out of Japan is that EF lenses will be discontinued. They're no longer going to make EF lenses anymore. They're going to stop production of EF lenses, which is a mass. That's a 40 or 50 or 40 year or 30 year.
oh no, 40 plus.
40, yeah. That's a massive
That's a big
time,
legacy.
huge legacy finishing. So what that means is that obviously the RF lenses are going to take over.
Yeah.
But also means you're probably going to see a flood of EF lenses start hitting the second-hand market at extraordinary prices because people are going to try and cash in.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know if that's official. I just heard it on not on the grapevine, on the table.
Right.
But yeah, it's huge.
I think it's been on the cards for a while, so I don't think we're breaking anything here. And look, forgive us if it's an asterisk. It's not official. We're just saying that's.
Wait, is it?
Well, I don't know. You tell me. But it's yeah, as I say, it's things evolve though, right? I mean, systems come and go, and that's the end of that one. And in 40 years' time, something will replace the RF system, or maybe even less than that. Yeah. And as I say, it continues to evolve. Cameron, we have a dear Cam, shall we?
Let's do it.
This episode is going to take me forever to time code. I just realized.
Yeah.
God damn it! Why don't I write these things down?
You know what we should do? Just to piss you off, we should just go back to the start and just touch on something else.
That's right. Yeah. And how do I double time code something? Anyway, dear Cam, hi lads. Hi, Jason. This is from Jason. Hi lads. Many of us have gear that we. Oh, hang on. This is a double. Many of us have gear that we Many of us have gear that we have.
Many
This doesn't. Does this guy?
Many of us
England?
have gear that is precious to us.
Thank you. Many of us have gear that is precious to us, and we have either had to have a secret bank account in which we siphon money into, or we've sold a kidney or a child to afford it. Wow. So I'm wondering what you guys do about insuring your gear.
Oh,
we travel normally. This is not very good England. When we travel, when we normally travel, it will be covered on travel insurance. But what about the day-to-day use? As I'm unsure if your home and contents insurance will cover that dropped lens when we go out on that shoot in the bush. Look forward to your answers and keep up the great work, the show, Jason. Now, Jason, I feel like not that long ago we answered this question, or we brought it up in our travel, so to speak. But my general understanding, and I'm almost certain this is true, is that certain home and house and contents insurance will cover your lenses day-to-day use. So even when you're not at home because it's part of your home and contents insurance. You do have to actually stipulate that you want to have that gear covered. It's not a
Yes.
blanket coverage automatically. So you will need to reach out to your insurance company to find that out, Jason. But as far as I know, it is covered. And the reason I know this is because a lot of people will come into camera and photo with stuff that they've broken. And a lot of the time it comes back to just saying, well, did you know that it's probably covered under your house and contents insurance, and you pay the excess and you get it replaced?
Caveat to that.
Yes,
Just have a look at the fine print of those. So
always.
most of them will cover you away from your home, but depending on where you are, they may ask for an amazing amount of extra information. So I have a
Yes.
friend, I'll leave the friend anonymous, but they went to do a claim for losing a camera, and the insurance company, who I won't name either, wanted cell tower records of where they were. They wanted like
Wow.
almost CIA details of where they were, where the camera is, where it went missing, what they were doing, and how it all happened. So, yes, you may be covered away from home, but there may be a lot of extra things you need to provide. So, in normal, I have my business insurance that covers my gear, which is actually up for renewal, which I've got to do. Um, so that's how I do it under my business insurance. It's all under the general liability and everything of my business. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there is a couple of companies out there that will do insurance. So you can shop around. Um, some of the camera clubs can also get their gear insured. The members can get it done as a
Well,
group thing as well.
while you were chatting away there, I had a quick look on RACV, which is
Right.
the Victorian RAC insurance company.
Yes.
RACV say that you have an option to extend your contents cover with what's called portable items cover.
You all right?
Portable items helps protect certain valuables that you or your family might take with you when you leave your home,
Right.
such as jewelry, watches, mobile phones, cameras, glasses, and medical items. So there you go. You can actually opt to add it to your house
Yep.
and contents insurance.
Yep.
Portable cover, portable items cover. That's if you're traveling, like you just literally go to a local park and take photos and something happens. So
Yep. Yeah.
there
Yeah.
you go, Jason, if that answers
So
your question.
yeah, there is options. And again, as always, we would strongly suggest read the fine print.
Yes, and travel insurance is a big one. Just making sure that you've got the right amount of travel insurance to cover the actual gear that you're taking on your trip.
Have you got travel insurance for our trips?
I certainly do, sir.
Excellent. How much have you got
Uh,
covered?
I don't know.
Right.
Sally did
Of course she did.
it.
Of course she did. She's the only organised one at the house.
Yeah, I think she did it while I was at BFOP, actually.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so Jason, that answers your question, hopefully. If you have a question for Cam on our Dear Cam segment, please send it to us.
Yeah.
You can find the details to send stuff to us at www.dsps.com.au.
How polished, like seriously, even the live show we did at Bright, you are the new Daryl Summers.
We've done 140 episodes. You'd think I'd know. Beer donations for this week, excluding the ones that actually bought us a beer at Bright. Thank you.
Right.
Beer donations. Mel H must be a new listener. I'm not familiar with that guy.
Tell you what, he's got a drink.
I'm assuming it's a guy. Susan N. Saw you at BFOP. Sue and her sister ran amok and had an absolute blast.
Right.
They had a ball. Really enjoyed their time up at BFOP. I know that Sue bought a golden ticket to BFOP, so she also got the BFOP lucky strap as well. She went all in, mate.
Right.
Not only that, also literally 5 minutes before the bus left, because she came on the Friday, bought a new camera off Sony. Sure.
Of who?
Bought a Sony camera and took it with her on the bus. Borrowed the Sony
50
50
mil?
mil 1.2.
Yeah.
It was very nice.
So the question begs, is Sue now growing a beard and dressing like a hipster?
Like you.
I'm trying to be a Sony ambassador. Is it working?
Not really.
No.
Lee D, we won't say surname, but Lee D, thank you for buying us a beer
Yes.
also.
Yes. Lee is also coming to Scotland next year, Utah next year. One of them next year. They're coming on a trip.
You just can't keep up, mate. They're just left, right, and center.
Scotland,
which is awesome.
I'm pretty sure it's Scotland. It is Scotland.
Okay.
Scotland next year. I had a chat to Lee and Lynn on my black and white workshops. and they're very excited to come. How funny was it that we got the Aurora on the BFOP?
It was just incredible. I mean, it did two things. One, people got to shoot the Aurora, which was brilliant. Two, the hall on Friday night was deserted.
Yeah, right. See, I didn't know that because we were up the mountain for 24 hours.
Yeah, it
What
was.
felt like 24 hours.
Can I walk? Well, you finish your story and I'll walk
Well, I
you
was
through
going to
something.
say it was quite ironic that I was running the manual motors for losers workshop on Mount Buffalo for sunset, and then the Aurora forecast was there, and everyone's like, "So how do we shoot the Aurora?" I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
uh,
And and and
and you know what?
and
I actually spent about 5 minutes in my head going, I could keep them on aperture priority, and we can just see how it goes. No, we had to go to manual mode. So,
but
and there was a
it
there was
was.
a there was a collective. Uh, Like it was really funny actually for people that had booked on my workshop under the manual mode is for losers.
Yeah,
Were quite happy to tell me how shit I was when I had to put them into manual and how
that's
much of a
right.
loser I was for doing it. It was
There you
amazing.
go. See,
Yeah.
that worked well. But it just was funny because for those of you listening at home, I was setting off on the big bus trip. We were the first workshop out, right?
Yes, what you're gonna
And
say.
it's like 11 o'clock. BFOP hasn't even opened yet, and we're
Yeah.
out on the first tour. And we're getting our crew together. And earlier, Cam and I had breakfast, and he's like, "The Aurora's there, mate." And it's like, it's going to make this a very like it was already a 10-hour day, right? Now it's going to make it a 12-hour day, you know. And
And boy,
I'm like,
wasn't I keen for
I'm
you
like,
to do it.
everyone knows it's there. It's there's no escaping it. But I said, just keep it under your hat, mate. Just don't make it any harder than it already is. We're about to walk off. Cam gets up on the balcony and basically shouts to everybody, I hear the Aurora's going to be awesome tonight. Have fun with that. And I was like, yeah, righto, thanks, mate. And I said, I'll get you back, and it's coming. Don't you worry about that. But then, of course, we get up to Hotham and we get clouded out. But Cam and Tom, who were over on Buffalo, had perfect conditions. So it's
Yeah,
funny how
so
these things, the universe kind of answers back sometimes.
well, it was funny how it did happen. And you know what? Like that's another thing I love about BFOP is just the camaraderie between workshop attendees and things like and instructors mainly.
And instructors,
So
yeah.
yeah, so like Tom and I are up at Mount Buffalo. We were a good 20 minutes apart, and we knew what was going on. And Tom said to me, "I've got a bit more experience shooting them than him." And he said, "So are we gonna see the Aurora up there, Cam?" I said, "Look, you know what? I think it's a fair chance we will." He
Yeah.
goes, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "Look, we're going to be at the cathedral, which is, as you can see behind me, is where we were. Um, we're going to be there. Bring your group around after sunset, and let's all set up together." So we had 40 people in a half circle around this mountain, which is amazing. Um, but there was no like, "Oh, well, my group's going to get better shots than yours. Make sure there's none of that." It was literally became two workshops became one for about 20 minutes while we're shooting this Aurora. It was help everyone out. Everyone helped everyone. Let's get this shot. Are you getting it on your screen? Yes, I can see it. Awesome. Next person, and everyone got the shot.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty special feeling when you had, literally 42 people on a mountain
Yeah.
where they shouldn't be seeing an Aurora getting a massive beam Aurora over the
That
rest.
far north in
It
Victoria as well.
was incredible. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it was like a great, and like, the bus driver we had, Pete, he was quite funny. On the way up, we sort of worded him up. And before we left, we'd spoken to Matt and Nick, and Nick said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, stay up there. Mate, get the Aurora." And Matt's like, "Don't stay up there. It's going to cost a fortune for the bus to." So we went with the former. We thought we'd go with Nick. He's the seniority in that
Yes.
group. And on the way up, we're talking to Pete. And I said, "Pete, do you have a time limit on when you need to get the bus back?" He goes, "No, no, no." He goes, "I'm on time and a half." I'm like, "Wow, you've hit the jackpot." So he graciously went and picked everyone up, came back, did a U-turn, dropped us all off so we could all get this Aurora. We stayed there for about 20 minutes. And we got back to HQ. And like you said, it was a bit dead when we got back,
Mm,
but everyone knew what had happened, like up on
mm,
Buffalo. And
mm.
the next day, I had the same workshop that night, and everyone's like, "Are we going to get the Aurora?" I'm like, "It's gone, it's done."
Yeah.
That's
It's
how
cooked.
fleeting they are. And
Yeah, that's right.
so yeah, it was great. It was a great moment.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll be repeated.
Well, our story was kind of similar, but I was under strict instructions at this bus. Like this guy had already been driving; he'd been with us for 10 hours, so it was like
Yeah, yeah.
you got to be back in Bright at 9 o'clock. So we're climbing up Hotham, and of course, all day I haven't talked about the Aurora. I haven't mentioned the. I said the A word is banned, okay? And we're making our way up. So I get on the microphone on the bus, And I said, look, I'm under strict instructions from BFOP management that this bus has to be back in Bright at 9 p.m. And of course, everyone's like,
you blame someone else, did you?
hang on. And everyone's like, boo. And I said, but I'm a bit of a rebel. And everyone's like, yeah. So, I had every intention that we were going to stay like you guys did, stay longer. Of course, we're going to try and get the Aurora. But we're up there, sunset, and then just this massive blanket cloud just comes over Hotham as if it was just a little gift for Charlie and I to say, there you go, boys, you've worked hard enough today. You can have it. And there was nothing we could do about it. Like, it's gone. The Aurora might have been there, but we couldn't see it. So, and and it was actually quite good. It was a lesson for everyone in landscape photography that doesn't always fall your way. So,
well, it's funny that you say that because we had the opposite. Obviously, we had the Aurora, and it was the same lesson. Like, and everyone was quite conscious. Like, oh, haven't you got one of these up here tomorrow night, Cam? Yeah, they're not going to get this.
That's right.
So this is not a 1 in a million opportunity. It's a 1 in 1,000 opportunity probably.
Yeah.
But make the most of it. So that's why we spent plenty of time getting everyone set up. I don't think anyone out of those 40 people didn't get a shot of the Aurora, which is a great achievement.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Especially when trying to run Astro, it can be a nightmare in an uneven ground. And funniest thing was on the way out, in the dark, some lady fell down a wombat hole on the way out. That was pretty funny.
Whoops a daisy.
But no, it was great.
Well, and then of course the irony of ironies. The next night we're back at Hotham. It's the most clear night. That's when I got this photo behind me. Yeah, and it would have been absolutely perfect. Aurora's gone.
Yeah, that's them the things we do, eh?
Yep. Yeah. So it was cool. It was Anyway, there was a little story too. Getting close to wrapping up this episode because it's the longest episode we've ever put out. Cam, what have you got coming up?
Not much.
Nothing really. Yeah. Nah. Might have a couple of weeks off.
I would like a couple of weeks off.
That's right. So Cam and I, as we already know, meeting each other at Melbourne Airport on Monday. And
what time are you getting here? About 9 o'clock?
Whatever the time of the flight goes, minus 3 hours.
Okay, so beer at 9:01?
Something like that.
It's free alcohol on the whole flight over there.
No, don't. Just don't.
Someone's got to drive a hire car the next day, though.
Yeah, that's right. What else? Oh, well, that's it. This is the end of the podcast. All we're talking about is what we've got coming up, and everyone knows what we've got coming up. So there you go.
Awesome. Right. That's been a mega episode.
It has. Well, we got there.
Are we going to announce? We announced that we had a sponsor, didn't we?
We did in the last
show.
So you're gonna have to go back and watch that because we can't mention it again until deals get done. But
is it on embargo? Is what they say?
It's under embargo. Don't. Camera companies love that word.
Let's just say we're extremely lucky to have the new sponsor on board.
We are, and I reckon by the time that happens, we'll really be hitting our straps. So Cameron, are you all done?
I don't think I can crap on much longer.
Me neither. That's it. That's the podcast. This has been episode 140 of the Down South Photo Show. We will catch you guys from another hemisphere for episode 141 next week. Bye for now.
See you later.